כל השנה הלכות בכל יום מובטח לו שהוא בן העולם הבא. בעזרת השם, today is the 70th of March Cheshvan, Wednesday, 4th day of the week of Parashat Shabbat Vayera. Bezrat Hashem will be discussing two mitzvot today, the right mitzvah number 79, where there is a prohibition to favor. The judge wants to favor a poor person because he's a poor, just for that purpose. In reality, he's not innocent. He's actually a guilty party, but he's saying because he's poor. So the Torah tells us for that purpose you're not allowed to favor him. And also mitzvah number 80, we must help a Jew to unload his burden. We will see, Bezrat Hashem, as I already explained, the three most. If you want to sum up the creation of this world, if you want to sum up what does Hashem really want from us, what is the purpose of 6,000 years of creating this world, all the humans being born, all the humans, everything, all the words and everything. Why Hashem makes that we should hate people, where we are allowed to hate, when we're not allowed to, but why is there feelings? What is the whole, everything, this whole world? If you ask me, tell me, Rabbi, sum up this whole world in 3 words. What does Hashem want from us? Can you do that in 3 words? I'll tell you yes. The whole Torah, the entire existence of Torah, the existence of this human world that Hashem gave, actually exists for these 3 words. In the entire Torah, if you understand these 3 words, and you understand that this is what Hashem really wants us to live. It says, Azov ta'azov imo. If you're going to tell me, how can you sum up the Torah? What is the purpose of everything? What does Hashem really want from us? Why He let us have this whole world, pleasure, suffering, whatever it is. He wanted to relate to us, I believe, in my opinion, Baruch Hashem, with my learning Torah, this is what it is. The 3 fine words in the entire Torah, and everything trickles down from those 3 words, which are in the Pasuk Shmot, chapter 23, the last words of that Pasuk, Pasuk Hei, 5th Pasuk, Azov ta'azov imo. Go and help him. Who? The Torah tells us we're talking about your enemy. Hashem wants us to get to this level that we have to help our enemies. And the halakha is, when your enemy needs your help, and your friends needs your help. The Torah is, you must help your enemy first, and then you go help your... So if you ask me, what is the main reason of the whole Torah Kula? What's the purpose of all the 6,000 years? Is Hashem wants to relate to us this concept. Azov ta'azov imo. And everything else is secondary. We have to elevate. Yes, imagine, we'll discuss that mitzvah, Bezrat Hashem, when we get there. And we'll elaborate a little bit if we have time. Bezrat Hashem, the mitzvot are mukdash today, le'elu nishmat, for the memory of all the people who are niftar from this world, all Jews who have niftar from this world without anyone on their behalf saying Kaddish, or anyone learning on their behalf, or that they left over. So Hashem should use the kedusha of this learning, Bezrat Hashem, to elevate their neshamot. Also, this mitzvot are today mukdashot. The limud is mukdash for l'refuah shlema lekol cholei Am Yisrael. All the Jews who are harmed in any way, Hashem should send them refuah shlema, whether it's physical, spiritual, mental, it doesn't matter. Hashem should send them refuah shlema wherever, and they should have a complete, speedy recovery. And also amongst them to Chaya bat Leah, Yosef Chaim ben Mafrat, Yaakov Israel Daniel ben Angela, Amnon ben Osnat, Amnon ben Bilha, Rachamim ben Fricha, Shalom ben Rosa, Yom Tov ben Rivka, Baruch ben Yeshua. Hashem should send refuah shlema, Esther bat Julio, and all others that we mentioned. We just don't remember right now. And also, Bezrat Hashem, of course, the unfortunate situation that the Jews are in captivity, whether in criminals, whether it's even in a criminal legal justices around the world, where they obviously sometimes throw the books of the Jews because you are the people of the book. You have to be more careful. To be favor, Hashem should send all of them, Shavuim, all the people who are in captivity, legally, not legally, all out, and each one should have a zechut, a reality, go learn the Torah, b'kedusha b'Torah, and to be elevated spiritually. Mitzvah number 79. A judge is prohibited to have mercy on the person who is weak or poor. That's not what you are here. You are not a social contrast or a social activist when you are justice. You are here to judge the case to its merits. Not allowed to do any mercy on it. But rather to elaborate the difference of the whether it's a rich person or a poor person, you are to elaborate to see what is the facts. What are the facts? As it says, chapter 23, pasuk gimel, we are prohibited to favor a poor person. And we already learned another such a concept. The Torah tells us in Sofer Vayikra, chapter 19, pasuk 15, Lo tisap nedar, we are not allowed to favor to an individual who is poor. Ulashon Sifra, also the explanation over there in the Masechet Kiddushin, page 4, second side, Shelo tomar ani uzeh. A judge is prohibited to declare, this is a poor person. Vani ve'ashir hayavim lefarneso. The judge will say, well, listen, I'm obligated to sustain the poor person, and the rich man anyway has to give tzedakah. Let me say the ashir is guilty to pay him, and it's going to come out that the poor man got money legally, cleanly, without any. Talmud lomar lo tisapne dalchas v'shalom. The Torah tells us it is it's a grave avirah. What are you doing? You want him to have money cleanly, but you're lying? Chas v'shalom. That's not the way the Torah works. Everybody knows what's going on here. שהשכל מעיד בהשוויית הדין שדבר ראוי וכשר הוא. Again, understand that if a judge starts to play around the social contrasts like this, אין לדבר סוף, there will be never an end. Okay? So obviously, if you start playing like this, it's going to elevate you, right? It's gonna actually not elevate you. It's gonna farmush you. It's gonna make you crazy. And in the end, you're going to do things out of this world, which you will not even know why you're doing it. The truth of the matter is, like we said before, right? We mentioned before on Yom Tov, for instance. The Torah tells us when somebody has a death in front of him, a child just died, a mother died, a father died on Yom Tov. He's onen. Can bury the person here the first day. You have to bury them on the second day. So let's say in that case, it's still on an, or like today in America, there's no burying, almost impossible unless you're a very famous person. Then on the second day, the Chevra Kadisha will monitor the goyim do it. Okay, so it's a horrible thing. So sometimes he's put people in Borg. So he's on end. So the Torah tells us he's not allowed to not rejoice. Actually, not rejoicing because of Yom Tov is actually showing that his head is something crooked. The Torah tells you to rejoice. He has onen. Okay, that's a secondary thing. You have to tell him that I'm sorry, Yom Tov is more prevalent, and Simcha, you cannot just take it away like that. The one who took away his parent is the one who's telling him you're not allowed to. So here we are tested. Are we humans serving God because of our feelings, or are we serving God because Hashem told us to do X, Y, and Z? So this individual, this judge, what are you doing? Oh, this person is poor. Excuse me, Habibi, so what he's poor? Relax. You have to do your job. The poor person borrowed $100 from the rich man. Here's a contract. Here's the witnesses. The poor man has to pay $100 back. You want to ask on the side after you said the rule of law is the poor man is chayav. You want to ask quietly, privately, off the record to the poor rich man. Listen. You know the guy is poor. Maybe you want to donate. Maybe you want to be moichel. It's up to the rich man. You cannot enforce it in any way. And especially not lie in the court. Oh, yeah, in a din. Obviously, this mitzvah is only for males because males can be the judges and not females. A judge went ahead and had mercy on the poor person because of his poorness. Avar al mitzvat melech, he has transgressed God's command. Ve'en ba malkut, however, there is no righteousness here. She'en ba maaseh, in reality, there is no deed here, right? There's nothing even passing by. You're just telling a poor person you don't have to pay back. In reality, the poor man has to pay back, and the judge had made a boo-boo. He's going to get punished for it. He transgressed. הדין נעשית על ידי דיבור, ולדעת רבינו הראשונים תוספים ההלכה היא שדיבר אינו נחשב מעשה. The rabbi says, why doesn't he get lashed? Because he didn't do any transaction. He just spoke. ולכן דיין שמעבוד את הדין נידון כעובר עליו שאין בו מעשה ואינו מתחייב מלכות. So the judge who by words goes against Torah in this case, he doesn't get lashed because he didn't have no deeds. בנוסף לכך, ערך this, פטור הדיין ממלכות, משום שבאופן שפסק שלא על פי דין תורה, הרי הוא חייב לשלם לזה שפסק לרעתו. So according to Torah, actually the judge is going to have to pay now the rich man. ונמצא שלב זה הוא, לאו שניתן לתשלומים. So you see from here, that since he has to pay, שאין לו כן על עליו, we don't have to get upon it, we don't give lashes on cases where there is payment. So the judge has to pay $100 to the rich man. That's it. He's patur from getting lashed. Mitzvah number 80. As I said many times over, I will say all my life until somebody tells me I'm wrong. The whole Torah Kula, the entire existence of the Jewish nation in this world, the whole existence, we have to know, is a Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted to teach us a fact, a reality that he wants us to be. He wants us to be that gem. What is that gem? That jewel. The most precious jewel in God's creation. Malachim don't have it. We have it. What is it? We have to go. The Torah gives you an example. It tells you an example. Something out of this world. Out of this world. Listen to this. And beautiful Pirush Hashem gave me on this Simchat Torah, on this pasuk. It says like this: we are commanded to take off any burden from an animal. As it says in the Torah, Shemot chapter 23, we see that he cannot handle it. We see over there, chapter 23, Shemot, pasuk hey. When you will see a chamor sunacha. Why does the Torah tell us chamor over here? Why not sus? Usually load, and yes, the chamor used to be prevalent, the donkeys, but you have other animals that do carry loads. Horses, you have other, right? So what's going on? Specifically, the Torah tells you chamor, and the Torah was not bashful. It tells you even your enemy. Whoa, I don't understand. We have rules. We have a lot of rules in the Torah. One of them is, it says, Lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha. You are prohibited to hate another Jew. So what's going on here? That the Torah tells you, no, when you see your enemy's animal under the burden, go help him. Right? So we have like this. The Rabbi says, Ve'asoneh zeh pirusho Israel. What does that mean, you hate a Jew? First of all, it says, you are prohibited to hate Jew. The Israel also tells us a Jew. Amru Chachamim, the Gemara tells us in Psachim, page 113, second side, שעניין זה הוא כגון שראהו עובר עבירה ביחיד והתראה בו ולא חזר. What happened was, שזה מותר לשנותו. How do you have such a concept of בכלל hating a Jew? The Torah tells us you saw him transgressing sins, and you approached him and asked him to stop, and he says, I'm not stopping, to your face. You have a mitzvah to hate him. Like maybe like the leftist Jews all over the world, right? Where you tell them, Habibis, or the Reforms or Conservatives, you're doing a sin, stop going against God. Sorry, sir, we are comfortable with our lives, they tell you. So in that case, there's a mitzvah to actually hate him, because that's what the Torah tells you. How do you have a hater? You're going to say, Rabbi, you're not allowed to hate anybody. That's not what the Torah tells you. The Torah tells you you must hate him. Which case, where again, you reproach him, and you say, hello, Mr. Reformy, you know that your name tells you that you are going against Hashem. Reform. What's the purpose of reform? What's the purpose of conserve? What are you conserving on? Electricity? What are you conserving on? You're supposed to be a Jew, an Orthodox Haredi, without any questions, or a modern Jews. What does it mean modern? What are you moderning about? Go serve God the way you're supposed to. Stop playing games. Don't get dressed, ladies open up with shoulders, men walking around in shirts or whatever, coming to the Bet Midrash. Hello, Maze Moderni. What is the Moderni? You have to be a Haredi Jew. So the Torah tells you, after warning them, again, but today you can't warn, so we have another problem. So really you can't hate anybody because you can't warn people. As we already learned yesterday, you can't tell people. The Chafetz Chaim says, and Rabbi Victor Miller points out, that there is no giving musar in this generation because you really don't love anybody. So what's going on here? So that has to be learned. That he has to know that you love him before you give him musar. Why the Torah tells us chamor? Rabbi says it means every animal. Rather, that's what common was. Usually the chamor is the one that usually carry the burden. The Torah tells you should go and help him. What is going on here? You must help him from the Azvu Yerushalayim. Look at Nehemiah. What is the pasuk brought here? Therefore, the Rabbi tells us over here, the Azvu Yerushalayim, Amur legabe hizuk chomot Yerushalayim. Azvu shehu lashon chozek. עוזב בדרך כלל פירושו לנטוש אולם כאן על כרך התורה אין המצווה אלא עלינו לנטוש את הבהמה המצטערת. לכן הביא רבנו מקור לפרש לשון עזיבה בפסוק זה במובן של עזרה. עזבנו, אוקיי? עזבנו, what is עזבנו ירושלים, to help the take off עזרהו יעזבהו. Okay. שהוא לשון חוזק. You have to go and help him with might, meaning use your kochot. Now, with Hashem's help, with Yad Dishmaya, I was speaking to somebody on Simchat Torah, and earlier than that, we learned, if you remember, that we said that the Mitzrim are compared to Chamor. Why are they compared to Chamor? We learned earlier, Chamor means Chomriyut. They're busy with this world. So here, the Apostle tells you that Ketireh Chamor Sanoacha, when you see your enemy, all he does is busy with the worldly pleasures. With the Shema we said here, still, even though he doesn't care about anybody or anywhere, you are still obligated to help him, even if he's a chatzuf, he doesn't want to help anybody because he wants to be busy only with himself. That's why the Torah tells you Chamor. He's all about Chamoriyut. Still, you're obligated to help your enemy before anything. What's the purpose of this mitzvah? To teach our soul to have mercy, because that's the most prevalent, praiseworthy attribute. Obviously, we're talking about, if you're saying, that's the Torah tells you his monetary object, a donkey. From here, you need a Torah to tell you personally. If you care, you have to care about his donkey. Don't. For sure, you have to care about him, your enemy. What's going on here? So here, that's why we say that these are the most three precious words, the three most, the whole reason. This is a summation, my summation so far from the entire existence of this world. If my summation is, these three words are the whole world. That's it. Somebody asks you why Hashem created this world, these three words. Azov ta'azov imo. Go help your enemy. Go help a Jew who goes against Torah. That's the main reason, and that's what Hashem is planning for us to incultivate in us, to become better people. Okay, what happens over there if the animal is a goy in the rules? What happens if the burden is of the Jew? Or the other way around, the animal belongs to the Jew and the burden is of a goy. The Torah tells us when you, again, the rule is when you have a burden of your enemy on his animal, and you have a burden of your friend who you help first. The Torah tells us your enemy. That's what we're saying. The enemy comes first. Even when the Torah tells you that your beloved you have to unburden, but your enemy is actually burdening an animal, we know that there is less of a mitzvah to put a burden on the animal. But here still you שונא זה אינו כשונא שזכרנו מחמת עבירה, אלא שאין ליבו שלם עמו. שונא זה אינו כשונא שזכרנו מחמת עבירה, אלא שאין ליבו שלם עמו. And even over here in that case, the Rabbi points out, even in one thing that you know he does avirot, but here you have an enemy that you don't really like him. So he's not even a avirot. He's not an avariyan. He doesn't do bad things, but still you have a bad feeling towards him. You're not so happy with him. In that case, still he comes before your beloved. ופירוש כתראה מאימת הוא החיוב, ושארו חכמים, now the Gemara over there, במציע, page 31, 33, first side tells us, what does that mean? That you see him, שהוא אחד משבעה או מחצי במין וזהו ריס. How far do you see him? Doesn't matter how far you see him, you have to go and help him, he says. אבל רחוק מזה השיעור, אין חייב להטות הדרך אליו. Now the question is, if it's too far, so there is a rule that tells us you don't have to go out of your way completely. But again, to some distance, yes. You have to go learn the details. And there's העושה לפנים מן השור הדין, זקן, או בדין זקן, או נכבד ואין לפי כבודו, who has to stop and help, who doesn't, שהכל נידון לפי מה שהיא העושה בשלו, all those things are discussed. בדין פריקה בחינם או תינה בשכר, so now the rule is, if the person doesn't want to pay you when you take off the burden, and what about, can you charge him for loading? So there's rules about that. שמדד עמו עד פרסה, how much you could go with help him, ונותן שכר על הלוויה. What about if you want to help him longer or further? So there's all those things that have different elements and different involvement and different actually שכר. ועובר עליה, you could charge the money. ועובר עליה ביטל עשה. Anyone who does not fulfill this mitzvah, ומראה בעצמו, he transgresses Hashem's commandment, ומראה בעצמו מידת האכזריות, וחס ושלום, he shows in himself the attribute of evilness, שמידה מכוערת, this is the worst thing the person could do, וכל שאינו מרחם, אין מרחמים עליו מן השמיים, any person who does not have mercy on people, from Hashem on high, there will be no mercy on him. שאין ראוי גופו לקבל הרחמנות, חס ושלום, for he is not fit and befitting to receive any mercy. בעזרת השם. Have a wonderful day, הצלחה רבה, תזכור שנים רבות.